So, getting sick is not fun, but we all go through it. Every single one of us gets sick at some point in our lives. And what I want to share with you is something really important because when you're sick, you're not feeling well, you're not thinking straight, you're not thinking clearly, your mind is going into very negative places. And it's thinking thoughts that are very demented in its own way, that it's not even like they're your thoughts. They're thoughts that are, something you just don't want to identify with on any level. And so what do you do? What do you do when you're sick physically in your mind and your emotions and there's just this horrible thing going on? So what I found through my own experience, because I've had the benefit, the glory of being sick several times this last year, that you just surrender completely to your experience. There's no more fighting. There's no more resisting. And when you stop fighting your experience and you just let go and fall into it, surrender through it, there is this deep wellspring of peace that comes up. And this is the greatest thing about being ill, is that when you're sick, there's no more mind chatter that's just trying to get somewhere, trying to become somebody, trying to be somebody in the world. It's just about, how can I heal? How can I save myself? How can I find peace again? How can I come to a place of rest or quietness inside? Because there's so much disturbance, there's so much pain. And all this pain, emotional, physical, mental, it really challenges us. So how do we find how to let go? What's the secret to letting go? And surrender is just a word, but there is an actual depth to that word that it's really precious. And it means that you completely give up. You give up everything to the universe, to God, to source, to the experience of life in this moment. And you just say, I can't do it. I can't do it on my own. Universe, I'm becoming you. I'm going to merge with you. I'm going to let you take over me. I'm going to merge with the universal body. This small body is going to merge with the big body. It's like a drop in the ocean says, okay, finally I'm going to stop thinking I'm so separate from the ocean, and I'm just going to merge and surrender to the ocean. And so this word surrender is magnificent. It's huge. It's so important to really learn what it means for you. And it's not a defeating word. It's actually a word that means that you have beaten your ego, that your ego is not going to become the master over you, that you're not the slave to your mind. And the ego is just an identity that just is wrapped up around the mind. That's all it is. And we've become over-identified with this identity. And that's where all our suffering comes from. So, just know that when you're in a state of sickness, there's a beautiful, beautiful opportunity there. And it doesn't matter what your illness is. It could be any illness. Whatever your illness is, there's an opportunity to surrender to the silence that is beneath this ego. That is where the ego just gives up and says, I hand it over. I can't do it. I'm letting go. I'm just going to be still and surrender to stillness. And stillness may not come. It may not come. You may feel more agitated. You may feel more stuck. You may feel more pain. But just keep surrendering. Keep letting yourself go into that surrendered place. Because that's what the illness is about. The illness is because we're pushing ourselves too much. We're challenging ourselves too much. We're threatening ourselves by going over our limit, our edge, our boundaries of what energetically is healthy for us. And so we sabotage ourselves through whatever means why we get sick. Not sleeping enough, maybe taking the wrong foods or substances, or working too hard, or just pushing the body, basically, is why we get sick, and not taking care of the body. So when we take care of the body, it tends to do good. And yeah, once in a while, of course, there's always that time where you're blessed with this wonderful time of being down in energy, where you're sick and you're just not able to be at your peak performance or function. And so this is a glorious opportunity to let go of all of your agendas, all your life plans, your life purposes, everything. And this means your ego just falls away. Your ego just says, I can't do it. And so it's like the ultimate vacation, really. It's like life giving you the ultimate let go. Because this is like a taster for death. Like at death, there's like the ultimate true let go. But this sickness is just like a little, just a little ticket to feeling what's it like to just for a moment taste this deep let go. And it's profound. It's profound to really let yourself explore letting go of everything that you think is important. Because without your health, there's not much to you. There's not much to your energy or creativity or desire to live. So health is number one, of course. And often we forget that. So, it's an opportunity to reconfigure your priorities when you're sick, and to really look at how to take care of yourself better. And it's a spiritual experience ultimately. I mean, everything ultimately is a spiritual experience, but being sick is pushing you there. It's forcing you to find your soul, to find your spiritual connection. Because if you don't, it's just more suffering. It's just ultimate suffering. I was sick in India for 1 week. I couldn't even leave the room. I could barely stand up. Had dengue fever, bad. It was intense. And what I learned from that was how important it is to go as deep as you possibly can into your spiritual experience. Whatever your connection with spirit is, whatever your connection with your soul is, that you just let yourself completely honor that connection that's here, the presence that's here, that the source of your spiritual energy, your connection with the God source that is your basic nature. To find that, feel that, to know that, to honor that, to live that every day. Because when it comes time to die and you don't know that connection, you're going to feel really lost. So plan for a death that is fulfilling, because you're going to die someday. So just plan for your death to be really connected to spirit. Practice every day, as if this was your last day, because you never know. We never know. And just allow yourself to find that spiritual connection inside of your heart, inside your gut, inside your soul, and just relax into it. I recently just discovered, again, that enlightenment, this is a really simplified version, but enlightenment is just the deepest relaxation. It's the ultimate relaxation. It's complete relaxation of everything, every thought, every desire, every urgency, every laziness, every apathy, every anger, every sadness. It's just all of that is relaxed. And it's okay the way it is. It's not that it's so relaxed that it doesn't have an existence anymore. It's just relaxed into you, that you become more merged and connected with it. And so when you are relaxed with all of your parts, all of your emotions, all your states, all of everything that consists of you, all the years you've been alive and all the memories that come with that, this is you, Well, what happens when you relax with all of that, especially the stuff you can't relax with? And so when you're sick, it really makes you aware of what you're not relaxed with, what parts of yourself are incomplete, what parts of yourself are still struggling, still, efforting to get somewhere, become someone, that ego, that's never satisfied, and to find out why. Why is it doing what it's doing? Why are you doing what you're doing in your life? For what reason? Just to pay your bills and survive? Or are you trying to, what's your purpose? And, when you really relax, clarity comes in. It's immense clarity. So sickness is a doorway to clarity. It's a doorway to really deep insight into yourself. And so my invitation is, if you ever get sick again, well, obviously some point we will, but when it happens, let yourself really welcome the experience as a spiritual journey, as a spiritual exploration. That there's nothing more divine than this opportunity to really go deeper into that true deep relaxation, that true essence of, wow, I'm being forced to disengage from my ego. I have to separate from my ego now at this point, because it's, the ego's agenda is not as important anymore as this agenda, which is just to heal. And it's a great thing to explore, because it makes illness, sickness, whatever you're battling, to be a positive thing, which most of the world doesn't recognize. And so when you can see it as a spiritual, a goodie that's given, a gift from the universe, then there's nothing wrong with it. You can see, well, that person was blessed with this time of illness so that they can really deepen in their spiritual exploration. And you can have a lot more understanding, compassion, and maybe even, like, some people might even be jealous. Wow, like I would love to have that depth of sickness, because it would totally annihilate all of my clinging, to life. If I'm really, really sick and on the verge of death, and you have to surrender. You really do. If not, you're going to suffer immensely. So surrender is the only real option. So yeah, I know there's a lot to this, and that's why I keep drilling it, going deeper into it, is that it's a really deep topic. It's one of the deepest topics that we can explore, because it is so personal. It's so part of our lives. There's nothing, what happens when, your child gets sick or a real close friend gets sick. It's like, it really touches you. And, you want to do something for them. So this is something you can do for them, is you can tell them, how important it is to really let yourself surrender to the experience where you just get quiet inside, where you just find this place of stillness through the sickness. Okay? So, big exploration. Thank you for listening so much. Take care.